Now we can speak to Davis Miller, who wrote what many regard as the definitive biography of Muhammad Ali, and he was a close personal friend of the three-times world champion as well. He joins me now on the line live from Asheville in North Carolina, and thank you very much for talking to us here on BBC News, because I know that this is a very difficult day for you.
It is. It's a tough day. I adore him. I'll miss him every day for the rest of my life. And he's an extraordinary man. There's never been anyone like him, and as he himself said more often than the rest of us combined, after me there will never be another. So please excuse my terrible Ali imitation there.
Now, we obviously see the public persona of him and through his fights and his interviews, but you got behind that. Not only were you his friend, but you were his biographer. So tell us a bit more about the things that perhaps we don't know about Muhammad Ali.
Well, there's so much. I mean, he's such an enormously complex person that I've found over the years the best way to get close to Ali is not to define him, but to instead simply tell stories about your time with him, and in this case, my time with him. He changed my life. He made me a writer when I'd been a movie store worker, a video shop clerk. He saved my life as a kid when my mom died unexpectedly, and I was depressed, and I saw him for the first time and started living vicariously through him. He did that for probably millions of us. This is not only the most famous man in the world, he was also the most loved man in the world, I think, and he may have very well been the most generous. My relationship with him is not unique. If you had gone up and knocked on his door, even 2 months ago, if he was feeling well on that day, he would have likely invited you in, fed you a meal, invited you to stay in a guest room, play with his grandkids. That was Ali. And those are the stories I tell about him in my books. I write about him not only as the Parkinsonian Ali, the Superman in decline, but as sort of an ailing family member to the world, which is a unique mythology of Ali's. And who else has ever been that person? He had Parkinson's disease for nearly 40 years, and he carried himself with remarkable dignity and stateliness, and there was something noble in the ways he carried himself through his Parkinson's disease each and every day.
Now, there have been lots of famous boxers, lots of famous sportsmen and women throughout the decades and even today. But what was it that made him rise above all the rest? What was it that made him even greater than the others?
Oh, everything. I mean, his physical beauty. I mean, he may have been the single best-looking human on the planet, or at least best-looking man. He was so very elegant and beautiful when he boxed as well. He was singular in the ways he boxed. No one has ever boxed the ways Ali did. He held his hands at his sides when he was young, danced clockwise and counterclockwise around the ring. He was so quick, no one could touch him. No one could lay a hand on him when he was young. And then as he aged, he found a new way of urging beauty from his arms and legs and bones. When he'd lay back on the rope and negate the punches that were being thrown at him, and what he called the rope-a-dope. But that's only the tiniest part of it. Is that he became a hero to the world by refusing to be inducted into the United States military. That made him loathed, reviled in the U.S., but in Britain, as well as around really almost all of the rest of the world, that made him a very great hero. And it was regarded as an enormously courageous act.
Tell us a little bit about Muhammad Ali, the family man. You mentioned his grandchildren there. What did family mean to him?
Everything, particularly in his later years. Ali lit up around children, anybody's children, his own, his grandchildren, my children, would have been your children as well, more than anyone I've ever seen. He was a pied piper to children. He's a very fine amateur magician and would always always have kids clustered around him. He'd be doing his sleight of hand, his prestidigitations, and kids would just flock to him throughout his life. Even when in recent years he spent a lot of his time in a wheelchair. Lonnie Ali is his last wife, who she knew by the time she was in her teens that she would marry Ali, and they were friends by the time she was 6 years old and he was 19. She saved his life in so very many ways. She saved his fortune, got the abusers and abusers out of his life, got his health in the best possible situations it could be in that would allow him to have a large life, to do the things he cared about, to do the work that he considered vitally important to him, which was basically to just go out and see people all day long, every day, and treat all of them as if they were family. That was his work in the later years of his life.
Davis Miller, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts and reflections there. Thank you.
Indeed, it was fun. Thanks much.